big occasion in the Challenge Cup, and a minute's silence that was impeccably observed all round. And now Danica Prim, we are ready to get this one underway. Rovers at home to Castleford in the third round of the Betfred Challenge Cup, and we are underway. And Rovers bringing the ball back off the back fence there with George King.
Yeah, it's great to get them started now. You know, we've mentioned this beforehand, but this wind is going to play a really big part in today's game. It's like a bit of a tunnel here in Hull, and I'm sure that once they get the measure of it, the team's going to be able to use that to their advantage.
It's Rovers making headway in the first few phases of this one. Abdull out to Kane Lynette on that left edge. Since his arrival in Super League, he's made himself a real nuisance, a real weapon on that left side. Here comes Sims, who has shaken off the concussion protocol. He's passed everything after taking a bang in that game last week against Saints. Abdull puts the bomb up, but it's a really awkward one. Lynette pats it down. Kenny-Dowall will keep it alive to Abdull, but offside, says Robert Hicks, and Castleford Tigers will get the penalty just inside their own 40 here.
Yeah, really nice start from Hull there. It's just about for them, I think, coming out the blocks a little bit faster than they have done in the Super League games, completing their sets. So this is going to be a really good settler for them, just to get to the fifth tackle, put a nice boot up, and then obviously what we want is that good kick chase as well.
I mean, one thing I'd say, Danica, is I think you're a brave lady calling Hull.
Sorry, I do apologise.
They might come hunting for you.
I'm going to go with the Robins.
Across the city. Yeah, the Robins.
I'll just go with the Robins.
There's another club across the city that aren't too popular in these parts. It's a knock on though by Cass, and that just shows a little bit of the intent there, I guess.
Yeah, indeed. It's the pressure, isn't it? This is a Challenge Cup, and regardless of whether they're fresh into the season, whether they've played a few Super League games, it's knockout rounds, and every ball, every play, every tackle counts today.
So into acting half, sweeps Lewis. King again with a big hit up. Let's have their line set. Parnell. Now Mikey Lewis, who's a bit of a live wire. Nice step, the gap opens up for him. Real presence about Mikey Lewis. A little bit of skill and craft too. Parnell. Now they're in range. Lewis has stepped in. Sims loops a pass wide. Oh, that's a little bit scrappy. And Castleford Tigers will collect the ball here. We noticed in the warm-up, Danica, that Corbin Sims is almost trying to guide the team around, almost like a half. They've got plenty of good ball players in there. Maybe.
Yeah, he wants a bit of the ball handling prop flair, doesn't he? I mean, which prop doesn't? Me. You know, and he needs to just complete that set. It was on a 50s, could have taken the ball under and reset for them. There was no need to throw that away, so he needs to keep that ball to himself and under his arm.
Strong work though by Hull Kingston Rovers, forcing Castleford back. We've got Ollie Holmes in try-scoring form. I think his first try-scorer odds are slashed by the week. There's two in on the bounce. Truman, Richardson trying to unlock Rovers with the inside ball. There's Millington, hits that one. Last tackle though for the Tigers, and it'll be Danny Richardson who fires that downfield, and that seemed to get caught in a bit of the breeze, didn't it, as Adam Quinlan gathered that and he gets to the 40 before he's tackled. Much
easier for Adam to gather the ball there whilst it was hovering around. And great defence by Hull KR there just to keep Cass in their half. It's no easy feat, especially with a really organised side like Cass, so I hope we see more of that today. And Cass is a power forward, you can't give them any space, can you, or they'll be through.
Abdull, quick pick up there from Parnell. He's escaped the clutches. Now Lawler with a ball playing loose forward of his own. Been in England recognition at times. Abdull, little pop pass that time. Lynette. They've got numbers on that short side, and Abdull's going to target that short side. Kenny-Dowall tries to loop a little offload away, and it's come back with Matt Autier, and he will strike here for Castleford on the reply there. And we've got a good game going on here. 4 gone.
Yeah, it's nice to see Hull have really come out the Hull KR, apologies, have really come out the blocks this evening, and it's nice to see them keeping Cass a little bit tied up. I'm not sure how long it'll take for Cass to break that defence, but for Hull KR at the minute, this is a great performance.
Check Truman down the short side. He's a real threat, and he has been bundled into touch. Rovers weren't allowing him to get his jets firing, and Castleford just couldn't get the numbers there in time, and Rovers will take their play the ball centre field, which is obviously a feature we've started to see this season, where teams will select where they will take the new play the ball.
Yeah, it's quite a good little tactical thing, you know. Do you want to go 10, do you want to go 20, or do you want to go middle? My option would always be go middle, gives you more options either side. You take the 10 or the 20, you want to maybe trick the defence, maybe go one way and hit the short side. But definitely middle's the best option for this early on in the game.
Kenny-Dowall, who's been heavily involved so far. Sean Kenny-Dowall. Lawler onto King. That's a big tussle through the middle and a big leg drive as well.
Making some really good yardage after contact there and setting up the play the ball.
Yeah, nice quick play the ball. Lawler looked to pass, but he was wrapped up that time by McShane. Rovers dictating the pace at the moment here, though. Parnell finds Abdull. Ball moved along the line to Lewis. Kenny-Dowall. Nice little offload away to Quinlan. Some second phase here from Rovers. Big pass wide to Lewis Johnson. Lewis Johnson might be away here. Has he been held up? Yes, he has, Robert Hicks says. And Cass get enough bodies in the way, Danica.
Yeah, great defence there by Cass. They were definitely set on the scramble from Hulkayar. They were throwing the ball around. Really nice to see them get the ball loose. You know, they've 2 uncompleted sets prior to this, and getting that ball flying out has been really nice. Just unfortunately, they didn't get it to ground. So
Sims setting the point. Last tackle. Parnell strolls to the play the ball. Abdull, the kick in behind, and Truman makes sure, hacks that one into the advertising hoardings. And it'll be a goal line dropout, and Rovers, barring a bit of magic here, possibly from Paul McShane or Jake Truman, Rovers will get the ball back here.
Yeah, Rovers have definitely got a little bit of confidence now going into this first half. They've had more of the ball, and they've also shown in defence that they are ready and fired up for this game for sure. You know, we've seen them play a couple of times this season. I think this is the most fired up and I've seen them so far, and it's great to see. Like I said, you know, learning curve maybe from last week, who knows? But this is what they needed. It's that confidence level that they've just set for themselves.
It's a wobbler from O'Brien off the goal line dropout there. Maybe looking to catch Rovers out, but Sims has guided them forward. They're within 30 metres now. King. Another direct drive from him. Parnell. Sims, this time it's a simple ball out the back. Lewis engages the line. Quinlan's isolated the wing, and there's Ethan Ryan. Beautifully set up there from Rovers. And they are the side who hit the front. 4 points to 0. And Ethan Ryan has a walk-in, but it was created, crafted to perfection.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a well-deserved try there from Rovers. They've been up in this half for the start of this game, and they've been throwing this ball around, you know, a couple of times to no avail, and now they've, like we said before, these guys are not afraid to throw the ball around, to put a lot of fancy plays on, to move it and to move the defence around. And if they can carry on through this game like that, we're going to see more points scored. And if it's on the edges, then great, you know, either edge. Ethan's a great little player, you know, he's coming into the Super League now has really paid him dividends. He's got the confidence, he's you know, he's getting over the line, he's there, he's turning up, his errors are quite low, so I'd like to see more from him today. It'll be great. Cash just need to, you know, they're not doing anything wrong particularly, are they? It's just the start of the game, they're just warming up, they're walking into it. We know what they can produce, so I'm not going to speak too soon, but I'm sure that Cass are going to reply quite well here. Yeah,
absolutely. Still early days in this one, inside the final first 10 minutes, should I say. Good job it isn't the final 10 minutes, isn't it? Yeah. Barely got going. Here goes Jordan Abdull then from this near side touchline. Yeah, it was a bit tricky down there, wasn't it, the wind, but he's got a peg on him, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. This will be interesting to see how the wind, this will be a true test of the wind, I think, for him.
Jordan Abdull with the shock of blonde hair, just steadying himself, calming himself. And now he strikes it. And that smacks the post and comes back down. I thought for a second that was going to creep its way in, Danica.
It looked to kind of go in slow motion from this area, didn't it? When in slow motion, slightly unfortunate that, you know, it was a big kick from the edge, and especially in this wind. So, again, it's just going to be a test for him to know what the wind's like, and this half particularly.
Lovely, the way that Lewis took the ball to the line, that just fixes defenders, doesn't it? It makes it difficult to slide.
Yeah, kept his hips square, went forward with intent, and then that last minute offload.
And King who so far his GPS must be hot. He's been bombing up, hasn't he?
That's what you want to see from teams. This kick chase is absolutely put that pressure on somebody catching a ball and hear somebody shouting at you. Oh, I'll tell you, there's nothing like it.
From acting half Parnell, Lawler, a little bit of footwork, almost takes him through a gap, but Rovers lock him up. I should say, Cass lock him up. Now Abdull will kick early in the set, and maybe he feels he's got the measure of the win now, because that's a cracker in towards backfield, and there, scampering back with Gareth O'Brien, just about kept it in the field of play, Danica.
What a kick! That was perfectly weighted, wasn't it? Yeah, I hope he has got the measure, because that's going to make for a very exciting first half if he has.
Yeah, kicking game's always key. Michael Shenton swamped as he looked to get that ball forward. Truman just dishes a little pass onto Gareth Holford, who is wrestled uncompromisingly to the ground. Now they've come forward through Jordan Turner, who's taken to life at the Tigers rather nicely so far. 3 tries in 2 games. Not a bad return.
Making his mark for sure, eh? Yeah,
absolutely. Here goes McShane back to Richardson. They gave him a bit of space there, didn't they? I think they could see George Lawler likes to hunt down those halves, and they just had a little screen there for him, didn't they, to give him a bit of extra time. Yeah,
you could see him just set back a little bit, you know, gives him time to get the kick on. A nice weighted kick, but straight down the middle into Quinlan's arms.
Ryan Hall's return, a real boost for Super League, a real boost for Rovers, of course, and potentially England. I know there are plenty of candidates for the wing positions, but he's got the pedigree, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely, you know, and his experience in the NRL was short and sweet. However, he's got it, you know, and I don't think there's anything like it. The pace of the game out there is definitely going to help improve you as a player.
Seems to have recovered from that horrific ACL, which you two both rehabbed pretty much at the same time.
Yeah, both at Leeds within a week of each other, had our operations, came back at the same time. I like to think that we put a little bit of pressure on competition when we were in the gym together, so that helped.
So Rovers attacking that short side there through Sean Kenny-Dowall, but no joy on that occasion. Cass will get the ball here. In the shape of Gareth O'Brien's play the ball, and I mean, there's no, I think, yeah, the way Danny Richardson was stood at dummy half there's no disguising where that ball was going, was there? So off to the right. Yeah, not a lot of disguising there.
I think he's got to try things out, haven't you? You know, it's quite early on in the game, and I guess it's something for them to test and trial.
Truman with some nippy footwork, wrestled down that time by King and Minikin. Now George Griffin, all headband and bumpers up.
Making some great yards again there.
Millington, nice ball out the back, lovely pass at the line there for Richardson, just a flat pop. Oh, it's been called forward by Robert Hicks, but for me, those little passes, it completely switched the point of the attack, the angle of the attack there, but just drifted forward. Yeah,
an absolute flat pass. When you're going great guns, your hips are square, you're going forward, and you've got that little flat pass. If you can get it, and it's very tight to the line, obviously if it's going to be forward or not, it's going to mess with the defence hugely. There was a massive gap for him to go through then.
Meanwhile, Rovers on the back of that have got some field position to start their set, and Ryan Hall being used as a battering ram that time.
He's bigger than most middles anyway, isn't he?
He is. Mikey Lewis trying to slip the clutches of Oliver Holmes, and then he dropped a little pass off to George King. What's the old phrase? You're never a dummy runner. You always expect the ball.
You're always an option. Always an option.
Sims with a little short pass onto Lawler. Oh, he almost got away. He had support flooding forward. Parnell gets a quick rug. Nice switch of the attack that time again. Turning the ball back outside. Onto Corbin Sims. Parnell, wrap around, back again. Oh, they're chucking so many angles and shapes here. Lovely little clip out to this near side, but Shenton's come up with it, and Shenton's almost away, but his former teammate, Greg Minikin, helps halt his progress. And the game there, it was sliding doors, wasn't it? Rovers could have been in, they weren't in, and Cass are away.
Yeah, you do not want to give Shenton any space at all, because he's going to be through it, and he's going to be out and over, so good scramble defence there by Rovers to keep him down. Unfortunate for Cass though, but good reactions.
Matatia comes forward, up over halfway. Into acting half McShane. You know what an orchestrator he can be. Griffin slams forward. Another former Rovers player. Last tackle here. 25 out. Truman goes aerial. Underneath it, Quinlan being chased hard though. Ball pops loose. Penalty for the tackle in the air, says Robert Hicks. Well, that was fine margins, that one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just unfortunate, isn't it? Because Cass are going to go for the ball, and their only aim is to get the ball. Rovers are going to go for ball. Their only aim is to get the ball. So, you know, tackle in the air is quite a loose term. I think, yeah, he was knocked in the air, but it's nothing intentional, is it? It's just both teams are aiming for one thing, and that's the ball, and that's all you're going to have your eyes on.
Well, Michael Shanter made his point to Robert Hicks as politely as possible, but I mean, that was, for me, is a contest, but yeah, letter of the law.
Both off the feet, weren't they? Both went for the ball.
Yeah, letter of the law, I guess, would say that's what Robert Hicks will point to. As Abdull sweeps it into the stand. And they've got a point from which to start from here. Lewis Johnson, who arrived from Warrington in an exchange for Robbie Mulhern. Happy to get some game time under his belt here. Sims. Front rowers have been quite enterprising so far, haven't they? They've made some good meters, but they're not afraid of chucking the ball around, are they?
I know, yeah, best of both worlds at the minute.
Lewis, sorry.
No, I was going to say maybe it's his bright pink boots that are helping him out there. They are not prop boots.
Yeah, you've got to be a good player to wear them, haven't you? Pass out, waiting for the play of the ball from Lewis. Now King. Even there, fairly high quality. Prop forwards union might be inquiring about the colour schemes here.
There'll be a few choice words, I'm sure.
Sean Kenny-Dowall back towards the middle. Nice offload to Sims. They're going to work the ball along the line, try and open them up here. Lawler tackled inside the 30. Quick play the ball. Up goes the kick from Lewis. Gareth O'Brien on, he almost had it pinched off him by Ethan Ryan. Another good contest for the ball. Castleford come down with it, and Rovers will be delighted with their start so far. They've kept a really good cast side at arm's length for the most part.
Yeah, big thing for them this start of the season has been completion rate. I think it's, you know, give or take the first two phases, you know, their completion rate has since then been about 100%. So, you know, they have started off really well, and they're looking to keep this ball quite safe.
Well, they've got a set restart there, and they've slowed the ruck down. I was surprised there wasn't a second set restart chucked in. It's the hooter with the funny sound, isn't it?
Got the rubber turkey squash. That's what I like to call it.
I'm not sure if that's where they got the actual sound from, but it's not a million miles off, is it? Matt out here. Now McShane. Oh, it's opened up for Paul McShane. He's just darted through the gap. Support from O'Brien. Ethan Ryan makes a block tackle, body and all. Last tackle here for the Tigers. McShane again, who injected the pace. Truman, Holmes, Shenton with a money ball. Back on the inside. Oh, it's gone forward. Well, Michael Shenton, he pulled one of those off at Magic Weekend a few years back at St James's Park to put Greg Eden in, and it looked as though a similar pass, but this one just drifts forward.
Just unfortunate, that isn't it? You know, it looked like when McShane got through there that Rovers were just a little bit switched off, as if something else had happened, because he practically strolled through a couple of defence there, didn't he?
Yep, seemed to just part for him. He had a cordon. Cass making a strong charge off the line to force Ethan Ryan back. Milliking looking to go on the outside. Two former Tigers teammates of his, along with Jake Truman in the shape of Massey and Holmes. George King coming up to the quarter mark of this first half, and George King has just been pounding his way through that middle channel, hasn't he? Sims with a nice pass. Oh, that one misses out the man. Ryan Hall has to mop up, and Darrell Olfitz is up in his face, making the challenge.
And he looks like he's making light work of that as well. Ryan Hall is not a small guy.
Darrell, who came around the houses really to get into Super League, Hemel and Newcastle. He's making a decent fist of it since his time at Salford. Abdull with the kick downfield. O'Brien takes that on the run. I thought he was going to boom that one in field to Shenton, but he took the contact instead.
Yeah, just keep the plate safe now for the minute, Cass. They just need to settle themselves into this and complete some sets and get in some good ball area.
Michael Shenton foiled just over halfway. Now Massey. Lawler comes in. Three-man gang tackle. They all peel away. Truman to Holmes. You can hear the slap of the tackle, can't you? That's the one thing you get, a different sound effect from the lack of a crowd here. The physicality is well on show. Should say Richardson. O'Brien, Matautia tried to dump that ball wide, went down, and it's back to 0, says Robert Hicks. Now they've got the field position that they have been craving. Richardson. Now Griffin. Oh, they came hunting there. Corbin Sims with his massive arm protector.
Trying to use that as his bathroom ram.
He was, wasn't he? Millington with the dancing feet. Castleford Tigers now enjoying a little bit of pressure on the line. Truman, nice pass out the back, not looking. Onto O'Brien. He can't quite slice his way through. They are in sight of the whitewash here. Rovers desperate to keep them out. Massey will wind up. Now they've set themselves a point. Truman pointing right. Millington on an angled run into the path of Griffin. Robert Hicks wants Rovers back on their own line here. Short ball onto Millington. Penalty, offside. He did say, didn't he? He was almost stamping his feet in frustration to get Rovers onside, and they didn't.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is about Rovers is they're looking around at Cass, and they've got so many options. You can see that Cass are set up to play either side at any given time, and that's one of the beauties about Castleford. They can play, and they're always ready to go. And they're dangerous when they're so close to the line as well. So, yeah, Rovers just needed to get off the line. Not quite as quick as they did.
Taking one for the team perhaps there. Matautia goes on the outside. Can he stay in the field of play? Just about. Darrell Olferts is there. Gives Richardson a bit of room with the pass. Cash back to the 20 now. Millington. Now they've worked some shape on this left edge. Truman runs into Mikey Lewis, and it's a bit of a judo throw from him.
That's a bit unconventional, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It did the job, I guess. Here goes Massey. Slamming forward for the Tigers. Now they've got that arrowhead upon which to aim at. They'll come left. Truman with the dancing feet. Shrugs off the tackle and grounds it. And Castleford Tigers are on the board, and they're all square just over the quarter mark of this first half. It's Hull Kingston Rovers 4, Castleford 4.
Yeah, it's really great to see that from Castleford. You know, they were 15 metres out from the line, and then they all set really deep. So either side of the ruck play was both halves are set quite deep, which meant that they were going to throw the ball around. They were going to run onto the ball with pace, which gets them a little bit wound up to break through and over the line. So it was really nice to see, and I think it's lovely to see. We're quite high up, aren't we? We can really see the positioning of Cass and how they are setting up both ways, and it's going to unsettle Rovers. It's going to make them put pressure on them in defence unnecessarily, and that's paid off dividends for them, so it's really great to see.
So Richardson with the kick. In terms of what you've seen from being up here, what are the go-to shapes for both teams? What are the plays that you look like they're favouring?
Well, at the minute, Cass are going quite deep, so you know we're looking at an out-the-back play. So you've got options. You've got two runners that are, you know, forward runners that are relatively flat with you, and then we've got a couple of out-the-back options with an extra out-the-back behind that as well. So you've essentially got in one pass 4 options you can go to, and then from that, you know, that one-off pass, you've got another 4 or 5. You know, it's like a pyramid scheme, I guess, for Cass, and that's not set up on either side, and they're swinging really quickly. So you can see Richardson, he went from the short side and really quickly swung around to the open edge. So they're offering that extra ball handler who's going to get the ball across the field much quicker.
So Castleford Tigers go in front. Danny Richardson good off the tee. Albert Vete's on, and he's a big boy, isn't he? Former Melbourne Storm man, and yeah, he's some powerhouse. New Zealand Warriors as well, of course. What a unit he is. Looking forward to seeing him. I think he might be one of those that enjoys carrying the ball in, and maybe doesn't quite like having nippy halfbacks running at him, but certainly you don't want to get caught by one of those arms.
Absolutely not. I'm looking forward to seeing him with ball in hand for sure.
Comes in third man that time. In fact, he'll leave it to the 3 already in the tackle. Here goes McShane onto Massey. Belts it forward. Now we see a little bit of technique there from Vete. He was wrapping around the waist.
Can't run without your legs, can you?
Absolutely not. Here goes Richardson. Now they're up in the tempo. Cass, nice offload. Looking to put the man away down that short side. It was Chase Blair, who's been a revelation, having been pushed into that position this season and last season, of course. 16 minutes to go here, and then Truman puts up I should say Richardson put up a real spiral of a kick that was just being dragged about by the wind and taken in the end well by Ethan Ryan.
Yeah, the ball's really spinning and hovering in this wind, isn't it? It's making the receivers make it a little bit easier for them, I guess. But again, Cass have got great kick pressure. It's never nice to hear them thundering feet coming towards you.
You're watching that ball swimming around in the air.
And hearing exactly what's going to happen. You're going to get crushed anytime soon.
Vete goes straight at Paul McShane, but good tackle technique from the Tigers. They bring him to his knees, pretty sharpish. Parnell trying to build on the back of that. Last tackle here for Rovers. Not a bad position to turn the ball over. Maybe even better here as Abdull goes aerial. Good chase from Kenny-Dowall, and in the end O'Brien comes down with the ball, but you could see, to be fair, Kenny-Dowall only had eyes for the ball, but yeah, he did catch Gareth O'Brien, and it is a Tigers penalty.
That didn't look too nice to receive, though, did it? Says that there's not a pretty tackle, but it's nice to see that Rovers are using, they're going behind the ruck, so Cass are putting numbers in, and then Rovers are utilising the players that have just been tackling and going straight back at them.
Picking that space behind almost. It's like touch football, isn't it?
Yeah, drawing in the markers as well. They're going to have to, repeat tackles. That tires you out, some, mental. So good tactics there by Parnell.
The lateral here from Cass, but they've got some shape now as O'Brien straightens things up. Bit of a commando roll at the end of it. He was deemed to have been tackled. Adam Milner's on now for the Tigers. Now they're easing into their groove somewhat here. Truman looking to push back on the inside, but then goes wide. Oh, it's a lovely pass of the line to Chase Blair. Oh, and then the offload back, and the danger's not over for Cass now, having turned that ball over. Quinlan is eventually stopped, but we saw some beautiful invention there from the Tigers, but Hull Kingston Rovers just doing enough.
Yeah, Cass can throw the ball around at speed, everyone's moving at such a pace and they can just throw the ball around, so I think it's great to see. Obviously horrible for the defence, but it's exciting rugby that Cass can play, definitely.
So still just the 10 points in it, 6-4 to the Tigers so far. Penalty for offside. Cass just not getting back the requisite 10 in numbers. And so Jordan Abdull will just thud this one into touch on the far side, and suddenly Rovers may be finding a little bit of a groove themselves here. Abdull onto Vete. Takes some bringing down in the end, a bit of leg drive. Pass out. Now to Litton. Litton, engages the line, and he might be away. Finds Quinlan. Quinlan for the line, and that's a brilliant try from Hull Kingston Rovers. Jez Litton, like the jack in a box, squirts his way through, and it's 8 points to 6 with a kick to come.
Yeah, again, from the tap, we saw a lot set up. With the essentially like a bit like a diamond shape from the first receiver, giving you options, 2 up front, 1 out the back, and then we had this edge over here, all ready and waiting for the ball to come flying out. We know that Rovers like to throw the ball around, so to see that in the middle, options in the middle, with the possibility of going out wide, it's really nice to see. I think maybe it's my position, and I've never been so high up to see this, but it's great from both teams.
So Rovers strike again, and they take the lead again here, having been pegged back and then overhauled by that try out on this left edge from Truman. They are now in front, Rovers. And Adam Quinlan finishing it off. Good support play from the fullback. There wasn't an awful lot of option for Jez Litton, but Quinlan made sure he got himself in the picture.
Yeah, the great thing about him, he's a small, snappy little fella. He can move. He's not got the height advantage. That means that he is difficult to move to catch, and he can move around. He's very agile, and bouncy. And support play is massive in this game, and I'd like to see more of it from Cash. As soon as they make a break, having those options either side is just going to be the difference between finishing 5 metres short of the line and getting over and getting the points.
So Jordan Abdull tips on the extras. 10 points to 6 here at Hull College Craven Park. The Betfred Challenge Cup third round, live on Our League. Matt Newsom and England and Leeds prop Danica Prim, your commentary team here, and it's been thoroughly entertaining affair. We've got 11 minutes of this first half remaining as from the match clock here in the stadium. And so as Lewis just drops it onto the on-rushing Vete, and if Rovers can strike again before half-time, and that Liam Watts penalty, that would really put them in a commanding position, even at this stage. But so far, it's been really good, close counters, close quarters fair, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's about who gets to half-time and who's got the edge, because that's the confidence going into the sheds that you want. You know, it changes your chat a little bit at half-time, whether you're on the front foot or not, and what the feedback from your coach is going to be. At the minute, I think both teams are. I think it's a great contest so far. You know, there's nothing errors-wise. It's not a huge, you know, there's not huge errors really. It's just, you know, these kick chases that are great. You want to reward the kick chase. It's just unfortunate it's not ending in their way.
And the only penalties we've had so far are tackles in the air where it's actually been a competition for the ball. So that tells you it's not been a rough game or a nasty game. It's just been a competitive game. Set restart now for Rovers. They can take advantage of that. This Parnell ducks and dives and bobs and weaves. Now they're in a position. Lytton, we've seen what a live wire he can be. Vete has the leg hauled up.
You can see this diamond shape setting up on the right-hand side there now. But Matt opts to go left.
Parnell just ignoring that one. But yeah, you can see it, can't you? Lewis and Lawler forming that diamond. Abdull's dropping in now. They'll come down that short side again with Kane Lynette. Now everything is shaped up on this right, but Vete will drive to the line. Has he got that down? And Robert Hicks looks to his touch judge and points for the try. And the big man from Auckland, the Tonga international, opens his account in Super League, and should I say in the Challenge Cup. And that is another try for Rovers. 9 to play in this first half. Hull Kingston Rovers 14, Castleford 6.
He just killed himself up then and rolled over, didn't he? He bent his knees, bent his back, made himself as small as possible, and just stomped his way across that line, taking about 3 or 4 defensive players with him.
Yeah, burrowed in. Wasn't going to be held out. So Mikey Lewis then with the kick to come. And what a way to introduce yourself. He's played once already for Rovers, but that's his first try in that famous red and white. As Mikey Lewis takes on the kicking duties here.
It's going to be really good to see how Cass respond to this now. You know, they're not a team that like coming from behind, especially after half-time. So they're going to have a few words which I can assume, and you know, we know what they're capable of. We know they can throw the ball around, and any ounce of space with Cass is very dangerous, because they're going to find it and they're going to break through it. So I'm nice to see what, you know, you think about what's been said underneath the sticks, don't you? And you wonder what words of wisdom are being passed around right now.
Well, the body language still looks pretty good from the Tigers. They know that it certainly isn't beyond them. Rovers, though, will be purring with confidence. Scoring points has never been a problem, really, for Rovers under Tony Smith. I mean, Saints are a very, very tough team to break down, so it was always going to be difficult to lay a finger on them in the kind of mood they were in. But Rovers, traditionally, you only have to look back at their results this season. You know, 28 they put on the Catalan. They finished last season with, you know, plenty of points against Hull in their defeat against their cross-city rivals. So, you know, scoring points isn't the problem, is it? It's just keeping other teams out. Yeah,
I said it earlier, it's about coming out the blocks. You know, they were slow starters last week, and in attack they've got some great phases, they just complete, and today we've seen them come out the blocks firing, and we've seen a really high completion rate. So, you know, I'm no coach, but that's just things I've picked up. But certainly under somebody like Tony Smith, he's going to pick out the fine details and work on those.
Well, they keep working Cass over, don't they, in this middle channel. Here goes Lewis trying to engage some of those bigger men. Gets a quick play of the ball. Lytton on the back of that. Lytton cut out ball to Kenny-Dowall, trying to go over the top of Matatea, but still going short. Kenny-Dowall then pops a little pass up. Lawler's turn.
I was just about to say, I want to see them settle this ball now and reset, and that's exactly what they've just done.
Abdull will take it to the line, threads the kick. Good cover there from O'Brien, but he's wrapped and taken behind his own in goal. And that was really good work from Ethan Ryan, and that will be another dropout that Castleford have to play out from under their own post here.
Genuinely, the Rovers have just come out absolutely fine, haven't it? I mean, their kick chase has been brilliant, their support play has been brilliant. They, you know, they really are on a different kind of gear today. Is it that Challenge Cup fever that does it to teams? I love it.
Could well be. Rovers certainly would love to get back there. 2015, a nadir for them in a way, even though it could have been one of the proudest moments of some of those players' careers. It wasn't a good day at Wembley, and they succumbed to Leeds. But happier memories stretching back to 1980, of course, when they beat Hull in the final. Can they take themselves back to the National Stadium here? They're putting themselves in a good position to be in the hat for the next round at the very least, or there's still very much a game to be played here. Abdull.
And we've got a second half yet, and I know that Cass will come back out and answer some questions.
But Parnell has just answered a question of his own. Goes himself, stretches the lead out to 20 points to 6. And, well...
I think I've got commentators curse, haven't I? I'm going to stop talking in a minute. Well, they're just finding these gaps, the Rovers, aren't they? They're throwing this ball around, they're finding some gaps, and it's coming off the back of Vete. Both tries, you know, apart from his own, obviously, have come out from a bouldering run from him. He's making 10 to 15 metres each run, and then his post-contact metres are fantastic as well. And that's going to struggle, you know, defence struggle to stop that. When you're being hit by the defence and your legs are still driving, it makes you question, how are you going to take this guy down? How are you going to stop them? And he's doing that, you know, in fine form. He's making a good few metres after contact, and that's setting a good platform for Hull to play off the back of.
So Matt Parnell in for the try, and now it's a chance for him to, or for Rovers, should I say, and Mikey Lewis, who again has the tee and the duty of kicking this one. Will be a comfortable lead for Hull Kingston Rovers if he can belt this one through, heading towards the break. 14 points in front, soon becomes 16 as the kick is good. And in the space of a couple of minutes, Hull Kingston Rovers have stamped their authority on this Challenge Cup third round tie, the Betfred Challenge Cup, and it's going Rovers' way. As Cass come back to the middle, 3 minutes, just under 4 minutes to play in this first half, and Castleford Tigers, it's becoming a rather unhappy deja vu heading back to that middle of the field.
I'm sure they've got lots to respond with though, Cass. I'm positive they're going to respond with something, if not in the next few minutes, definitely in the second half.
Yep, still got a big 40 to come. Sean Kenny-Dowall muscling up for Rovers, who might hit on the short side here. Kane Lynette just coming back in towards that middle part of the field, just changing his line of running. Lawler wrapped up in middle.
Everything that Rovers are doing are coming through the middle of the field at the minute, which just shows their organisation, their ability to switch back plays and shoot one way, and then they're bringing it back into a 50s and playing off there, because I think both Ethan and Ryan have not had much to do, have they?
Here goes Jess Litton again on the back of a Vete. Offload and drive, the ball bounces loose. Quinlan will finish it off, but that will come back for the knock-on, and he showed good hurdling skills there, Adam Quinlan.
Just shows his pace, that, doesn't it, that he couldn't stop himself.
Managed to leap over the advertising hoarding in back play, but Rovers that time, some desperate defence from Cass, making sure that Litton couldn't get away, but he really is the sparkle, isn't he, at times, Jess Litton, and having those pivot-type players, you know, at the moment they're running with the two hookers on the field, Parnell and Litton. That just gives you a little bit more ball movement, and then coincide that with the big boppers going through the middle as well.
Yeah, Litton's got us down the field quite a lot, hasn't he? He's been the one that's been bouncing around and been getting his offload to support runners. He's working himself really hard in the middle.
Now Truman back on the inside for Holmes. Runs into Greg Minikin and Mikey Lewis. Vete was there almost as the chaperone, but they didn't need him. McShane to Truman. Truman through a gap there, causing havoc with that stepping. Oh, and then the ball comes loose. Parnell mops it up. Called a knock on by Robert Hicks. 1 minute and 42 and counting here. But it will be a Cass play the ball in the centre of the field.
It's quite fortunate for Cass, that, isn't it? It's just a shame. I didn't know if it was a loose carry or knock on at all, but nice to see them get the ball back in a fresh set.
Chase Blair ramping up for the Tigers. Can they hit back? in the last minute of the half. We shall get one big set out of them here. Liam Watts, who offloads out the back to Dan Smith. Truman, they've got a little bit of support on this short side. Oliver Holmes with a bullocking run. Michael Shenton into the final minute we head. Just about here. Truman, Milner slipped the first tackle as Lawler came out, shooting that time. McShane to Truman. Truman takes it to the line, now Richardson. O'Brien chimes into the attack. Oh, Ryan Hall gets to the ball. Otherwise, Darrell Alfords was surely in. 40 seconds to play and counting. And Cass get the ball back here.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, Cass managed to pull the defence in, left that huge overlap. Really unfortunate that the pass didn't go, and Ryan and his long arms didn't manage to grab it. But yeah, he definitely would have strolled through them, wouldn't he?
Dan Smith inside the final half a minute here. Robert Hicks sets Rovers line, 5 out from their own posts. McShane drifting, nice wraparound play. Truman, no-look pass, he's missed out O'Brien, and Ethan Ryan has dived on it. O'Brien tries to strip the ball. Ryan's hit the deck and comes down with it, and that, again, Rovers just forcing the error. It's just that, you know, reaction from Ethan Ryan's been incredible. He's been around for the kick chases, for the ball spills, you know, for, you know, the support play. His reaction time today must be through the roof. It's been incredible. So that is half time here at Hull College Craven Park. Mix up the defence a little bit and just darting through the gaps. Well, Cass need a big start to this second half. They will get the ball back, barring some wizardry from Jordan Abdull, and you won't put it past him. He's got, as we were saying in the first half, some boot on him and a little bit of craft about him as well. Another player who began his career across the city, now in the red and white, and O'Brien will feed it onto Liam Watts, another player who to have graced both clubs in this proud Rugby League hotspot that is Kingston upon Hull. And Dan Smith ramping up. Cass's big name players, the likes of Liam Watts, so key to their game, aren't they? Some of that second phase offload play, but you know, he's good at, if he's good, then Cass are normally good. Yeah, it's not just about, you know, the skill as well. It's about experience. It's about the leadership. You don't have to be a captain or a vice captain to lead your team. Sometimes, you know, those experienced players lead by example, and you know, you set the good platform for others to play around you, and it really sets the tone of the game. You know, all it takes for Cass is for one or two of them to get a good phase, to get a good break, to do something that's going to, you know, set up an edge with some movement and yardage, and then it changes the whole mood of the squad completely. So on the back of that, Albert Vete just getting a little bit of quick treatment, a little once-over from the medical staff. Dan Smith with a strong carry there. Now McShane trying to unpick the lock with Milner. Yeah, really quick play the balls will be key here for Cass, and catching that defence off guard. They're going to run it maybe on the last here, and Oliver Holmes didn't reset the tackle count there. Robert Hicks must have done, because he had a hand up for fifth, and now it's still play on. Here goes Smith. Liam Watts and Smith heavily involved in this set. As Truman plays late to the line to Holmes. I love the confidence with the playing with this ball flat on the line. You know, it's a really fine margin, and when it works, it just looks beautiful. Milner now nudging Cass ever closer. Smith is providing that screen, perhaps for the outside backs. Instead, he'll go to that left side with Truman. Almost a carbon copy of his first half try, but he's held up this time. Now it's the last. McShane has to hover quickly. McShane drops it up brilliantly. Is that Sonny Lefeo just being held up, or is it Jordan Turner even, should I say, who came back against the grain? A shuttling break from him, and he's held out. Jordan Turner, well, he is in try-scoring form, 3-2, but wasn't able to get in there. Really great defence there from Rovers to just, you know, wait for that to come back inside and then to get underneath the ball and hold it up. Doesn't matter how you stop that ball, does it? It doesn't have to be pretty, but they managed to do it and keep the points at bay. Here goes Greg Minikin. And he dumps that ball off in the tackle, and Michael Shenton was quickest to it. And Castleford can set themselves here. McShane jogs in, trying to lift the tempo. Watts now with some footwork. Pounding forward. Tigers in the 10.
This is where Cass want to be, in good yards, and you know, putting the pressure on the defence completely.
That was wild from McShane. A very uncharacteristic pass from acting half as Matautia comes forward. Can he engage that line? Cass get the penalty.
He's still in. He's still in, mate.
Wow, but Vete was a couple of times just stood in the ruck.
Yeah. He's just his own little wall, isn't he, there, really?
It's almost like Paddington Bear, just looking a bit lost. I'm sure he knew what he was doing. Watts. That's ramrod straight from him. Now the arrowhead is poised. McShane to Truman. No look pass to O'Brien. Shenton with the pass to Turner. Oh, he's deemed that to have gone forward again. Michael Shenton cannot make that ball stick, but you can see it developing, and by law of averages, they'll get one right.
Yeah, really unfortunate for Cass then. You know, we saw that kind of same diamond shape, but what happened this time is the ball went through them. So a bit like a face pass, really, with a bit of a defensive kind of, what's the right word I'm looking, obstruction. But yeah, unfortunately, just not complete on that edge. Otherwise, they would have strolled in, wouldn't they?
It's almost like the block play, wasn't it? Within that kind of cutout ball. Some more tough defence from Cass, and they've worked that ball free. Smith. Watts poised at first receiver. McShane has a look. He's got plenty of pivot options jammed upon that right side, and another penalty here goes the Tigers' way. They've got to make it count this time.
I mean, talk about defensive pressure on your line. Definitely putting them under some.
Truman back against the grain, goes Holmes. Really in range. Smith, short ball onto Watts. Didn't have enough momentum to carry him through.
Bit of a hospital pass, really. He was passing as the defenders were hitting him there, unfortunately. Had he got out the back, there was lots of options for him.
Smith to Truman onto Shenton. Now they're hovering in dangerous territory here. Smith trying to burrow in. It's almost a flop that time from Jez Litton, but
well, there's 5 or 6 Rovers players in that defensive phase there.
Truman plays later the line to Watts. Toppled. Last one here for the Tigers. McShane swings to Richardson. Cut out ball bounces for Darrell Alforts. And Robert Hicks will blow for the try. And Darrell Alforts scores a timely finish for the Tigers. 22 points to 10 with a kick to come. They'd been in that Rovers territory long enough. You felt they had to come away with something.
Yeah, absolutely. They've really put the pressure on defensively. You know, Rovers have responded really well, and they've kept them at bay for long enough. Casa can throw this ball around, and they've got things set up either side, and it's not something as a Leeds Rhinos player or fan that I often say, but I'm glad that Casa finally got them points on the board, because they truly deserved them. You heard it here first. I did say that, yes, indeed. You know, but Cass, it's deserved. You know, it's really unfortunate they've not got more points on the board, and it's come from just that last edge pass that's not really gone their way. It's gone forward a little bit. But this is the kind of thing we like to see. You know, they're putting the pressure on, they're bouncing back. It's really fast movement of the ball that flies around, which, you know, it looks great for us as spectators to see, but it's difficult for the players. You know, if you've got a fast ball flying at you and you're running at pace as well, it's not the easiest thing to catch. I know it's their job, I know it's what they should do, but, you know, credit where credit's due, but I'm glad to see them put some points over the line. Right
over the black dot as well from Danny Richardson. 22 points to 12. The scoreline looking far healthier now for the Castleford Tigers. Now, one thing we've seen from Darryl Power's side over the past few seasons, you know, when they are in their group, back-to-back tries are no problem for them.
Yeah, I think, you know, pressure can either make or break you, can't they? They've gone into the sheds, you know, under the points tally there. And so it just depends how they respond now. And like you say, back-to-back tries, they've got some points now. They've got that little edge of confidence that they need. Let's see what they can bring now.
Dan Smith ramping up for the Tigers. No let up in the line speed and the physicality from Rovers in reply. Here goes Turner. Stopped on that 30-metre line. Wrestling at the play, the ball there with Lytton. Watts. So I think they reserve a special kind of welcome for Liam Watts. He sees he gets a little bit more.
He's not an easy guy to stop though, is he? You know, you got to know your opposition, and they know that they're key players that need the extra man in the tackle.
McShane onto Milner. Key part of Darryl Powell's team in 2017, and England recognition on the back of that. Richardson on the last here, manages to work a yard to get his kick away. Quinlan scampers across to gather, and then with Ryan Hall stood at first receiver, I think we might be seeing an outside back set here, Danica. Some of those forwards trudge back. Yeah,
absolutely. You know, the forwards are working really hard on both sides here, so what you want to do, you know, as a forward, you want to say to your backs, right, come in, take a set, get us out of yard, just get some good ball, and let us have a little bit of a break whilst you do the legwork for a second or two.
Matt Parcell is off and Mus Mustafa is on. Knock on from Rovers. Coming out of their own end of the field. George King just sort of trying to say to his teammates, concentration, concentration here. They can't let it slip.
Well, that's it now, isn't it? You know, Cass have responded, put some points on. They're going to be confident. They're going to, you know, they've had the good meters at this point. You know, play safe until you respond well enough.
Holmes hitting a line. McShane. Now Milner. Just steadied himself as he took that ball into contact. Takes some bringing down. Now the centre field 20 out. McShane onto Richardson. Plays late at the line. O'Brien, nice hands. Matotia. Alfords had wrapped around on the inside to try and give him an option with the offload. Now Richardson to Watts. Skirting before straightening things up here. McShane gets a quick play of the ball. They might have the numbers on that left edge now. Short ball onto Holmes. Holmes crawling for the line, but he's held out on the last hit. One more tackle left for Cass in the set. McShane goes for the kick. Bobbles loose. McShane gobbles it up and dives under the sticks. And that might be back-to-back scores for Cass, and it is. The scoreline now. 22 points to 16, and Cass roaring back here.
You know, unfortunate the kicker really, wasn't it? He went to get through the gap, it bounced back, and then it's that response we've seen from both sides. You know, the reaction time to this ball going loose is fantastic, and that's what's getting the points on the board. Again, we've just said it, you know, 5 minutes ago, Cass love a good back-to-back try. They like the confidence boost that's going to give them, and they're going to respond really well. We said it, the second half is... it's going to basically see who can keep their heads the most now. You know, we're going to have the confidence of Rovers to keep going forward, or a Cass kind of strong word in the sheds, and they're going to come back and say, we can do better than this, and we're going to put on a show now.
So Richardson with the conversion attempt, bang in front, which would bring it back to 4, and that would be an absolutely golden scoreline for Cass, considering how it looked when they headed in. Some 16 points down at the break.
That's exactly the response Darryl would have wanted from his squad. You know, and that's how teams can gather yourselves. You know, that's sometimes it's just a bit of a mental game. Are you going to be brought down by the score? Are you going to pick yourself back up and respond the best way you know how? And that's exactly what Castleford are doing right now.
So it's Rovers' turn to stare down at another kick-off. Another handing back of the ball. Abdull will take. He's just in dialogue with Robert Hicks at the moment. Clock's been stopped. Inside the final half an hour then here at Hull College, Craven Park. Betfred Challenge Cup third round tie here on the Hour League app. Matt Newsom and Danica Prim, the leads in England prop. And Castleford Tigers, well, if they would have been expecting that, wouldn't they, I think? Some strong resistance off the kickoff.
Yeah, like I've said before, the kick chase from both sides has been really great. But what we're seeing now is a lot more of Cass with ball in hand, and the only way you're going to score is ball in hand, and they just need to keep this safe and keep trudging forward now.
Set restart there for the Tigers as well. McShane has Rovers on the back pedal. King and Mustafa defending that occasion. Adam Milner just trucks it in once again. Richardson. Now Sonny Lefeo enters the fray. His hair swaying in the wind.
You can definitely tell who he is, can't you?
Exactly. Here goes Matautia. Tries to flick an offload away, perhaps. O'Brien moving into the ruck here to try and fizz that ball away. Liam Watts picking up the pace on the back of that. Dumps an offload away to Truman. They're short on that left-hand side, Rovers, if they can work the pass. Here goes Holmes. Rovers have scrambled well. They've got numbers away. Maybe they'll pick back to that left-hand side again. Kick against the grain from Truman. Dived on smartly there by George Lawler. And Rovers will pick the ball up now, but look where they've got to come from.
Yeah, it's the best field position to get them in when they're coming out in attack. You know, in that phase then, defensively, the Rovers got drawn in, but Adam Quinlan had responded to that. He'd gone round the back of the outside and he was ready on that outside edge, shouting at his team to get back, to reposition as soon as the tackle was made. So, yeah, they're in a Castle put them in a great position to come out of yardage, but you can see the comms on the field, and that's exactly what's the defence you need when it's on your line. Sorry.
Litton looking for the offload. It bounced loose. Robert Hicks calls the knock on.
Again, you're key for coming out of yardage just to keep this ball safe. That was a flick behind. Kind of, you know, you want to say it's unnecessary. I'm not down on the field. I'm not playing, you know, the pressure that they're playing under, but you want to get yourself past the 40 metres before you start throwing this ball around.
So Cass, maybe with a bit between their teeth now. 26 minutes to go. Liam Watts, thundering forward, penalty. What's the call here from Robert Hicks? He's pointing for the penalty. I'm just trying to see what his call is on this particular incident. Oh, yeah, no, but can't go below the knee. Yeah, tackle low on Liam Watts there. So a tap from Dan Smith. And they're right back on the front foot again here, Cass. Right under the shadow of the posts. McShane to Truman. O'Brien. And he's being dragged towards that touchline. Just about got his arm onto the floor to stop that momentum. Shenton, Truman to Holmes. They're building again, Cass, and Rovers on red alert. Truman, now Richardson. The shape, they've isolated the numbers again, and Darrell Alfords couldn't take the pass in. And Cass have chucked one away there. Rovers survive.
Yeah, really unfortunate for Cass, and you know, just that it's the first time we've seen some proper errors like that, though, isn't it? You know, it's into the second half now, and we've had very few handling errors. You know, Cass are getting into their 15-20 metres in front of the line, and they're setting really deep. So we see them in the middle of the field, and they're quite flat. They lack a flat pass, and when it comes to this last 20 and 15 metres, they're setting quite deep, which gives them loads of shape and loads of options.
So Litton scoops from acting half, looking to do exactly what Paul McShane did in the first half for the opposition by worming his way downfield. He created a try for Quinlan with a similar break as well, did Jez Litton. Came in at that time, laying down a marker for Rovers. Here comes George King. Lifted and dumped.
Always makes me cringe a little bit, those ones. Just feel my knees.
Yeah. There's Mustafa going sideline to sideline. Now Lynette. Rovers looking to pick the lock with a little bit of ball movement here. Corbin Sims.
We haven't seen much of lateral play from Rovers. We've seen a lot of up the middle, a lot of short pops going back behind the ruck, you know, and Cass are the ones that like to play laterally, so we've not seen much of this so far.
Well, kick for territory there from Jordan Abdull, just playing the ball into backfield. I mean, normally that would be walking to a scrum, but clearly we don't have those for the immediate future, so it'll be play the ball for Cass in the middle of the park, which is what they've opted for, but just a few of those big boys just gently making their way back, it's fair to say, buying as much time as they can.
Absolutely, yeah. As a middle unit, I know how much time you want to take. You want to take as much breath as you can before you fire away again.
Here come Castleford Tigers. Trying to clear the line through Darrell Alfords that time. A try scorer in this second half. He could have had a second, but he just couldn't draw in that pass from Matt O'Tea. Lovely run there from McShane. He might have to give himself up here around behind the back of Dan Smith, and he does so.
Yeah, easiest way to do it, isn't it? As soon as you recognise it, just go down. You don't know, they've had a lot of ball in hand at the minute, so they don't want to give it away too soon.
Paul McShane looking potentially for a 40-20 there. It was unfortunately never kicked back towards the sideline. And so instead, Ethan Ryan will cart this one up for Rovers. He was really good in the first half, wasn't he? Great positioning, great finishing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Just it's the reaction, isn't it, from the young kid? He can see what's happening and react to it immediately. 4
points in it here as we edge towards that hour mark. Jordan Abdull plays at the line. They've got some numbers on this left side. Kane Lynette barrelling forward, but he's drawn down that time. Jordan Abdull cramming across, looking for a crash ball maybe. Instead he'll pick out Johnson. Johnson slams in. Now they're winning 20 metres here. Sean Kenny-Dowall calling for a switch back to the left-hand side maybe. Grubber threaded in behind. It's an easy take for Richardson. And I don't think Jordan Abdull, who's normally a consummate kicker, got quite the connection he wanted there.
Yeah, I think they were a bit out of shape there. We saw Ryan Hall take the ball up the middle and then quick play the ball off his ruck, and they sent it back down on the left-hand edge, and he wasn't ready to set up. So had he had the extra man overlap and had Ryan Hall been back in position, had it been a play or two later on, they would have seen them probably break the line and go up that edge, but which therefore meant that maybe that phase of play was off kilter a little bit and they had to opt for something a little bit rogue.
Greg Minikin, anything but rogue with that ball steal. Clever play from Rovers here. King to Lewis. We've seen him step his way towards one try this season. Couldn't find a way through that time. Lytton poised. Swings left. Abdull delayed pass to Kenny-Dowall. Oh, he's almost away, Sean Kenny-Dowall. He might still get in there. Sean Kenny-Dowall, the big Kiwi veteran, scores a try that extends Rovers' lead just when it was starting to look a little precarious. 26 points to 18. Sean Kenny-Dowall, well, he's played at the highest level and he showed his class there.
It's like everyone's responding, aren't they? Everyone's bouncing back, which is making for a great and entertaining game of rugby league today. You know, we've got the cast, we spoke about them liking back-to-back tries, and then we spoke about how do you respond from that, and it's exactly that way. Sean takes the ball forward, and he's got about 3 or 4 players. Ryan Hall comes across behind him, offers him an option. You know, to take the ball up and to hear that much, you know, it gives you the confidence to either take the ball and go, or to know that you've got players around you that have kept up with the play and offering, you know, plenty of options in order to get the ball across.
So Sean Kenny-Dowall, who played at the Roosters and Newcastle Knights, a grand final winner with the tricolours, just turns up with a big play when needed. That just tips the scoreboard back in Rovers' favour. They're already in front, but Cass were looming large on the horizon. And that try, which was sheer bloody mindedness, essentially, wasn't it, from Sean Kenny-Dowall?
Yeah, I think, you know, like I said before, he's got the options, but he's also like, nope, no, I'm going to take this one, I'm going to settle it myself, thank you very much.
And if you wanted anyone to keep their calm off the tee, it's Jordan Abdull there. 28 points to 18. He kicked that one, and it just sailed, it whistled true. Beautiful kick from Jordan Abdull, just to give Rovers a bit of breathing space again, because Cass will make this a big final quarter, no doubt about it here on the hourly gap. It's the Betfred Challenge Cup third round, and Rovers lead the Tigers by 28 points to 18. Ryan Hall takes the ball off the kickoff, and there's nothing fancy about that. Solid and effective, straight into the guts of that Tigers defence.
He's not afraid to go up the middle, is he, at all, that fella?
Mustafa likewise, former Leeds Rhinos contingent, weighing in with their contributions tonight. As Lytton finds Abdull, now Kane Lynette. That's a classic Kane Lynette run, just putting his body on the line down that left edge. Yeah,
he's really been making the yards for Rovers, hasn't he, today? And getting that good play the ball we talk about all the time. The play the ball from both teams needs to be quick and snappy in order to catch the defence off guard.
George King having a wow through the middle as a big middle. Has played on the edges at times. Kenny-Dowall dumps one back on the inside. Jordan Abdull will dive in. And if that is given by Robert Hicks, if he's got no queries about the pass, Well, Jordan Abdull strikes, and it's back-to-back scores for Rovers. 32 points to 18. With a kick to come, and Jordan Abdull on the back of more excellent work, punching down that left edge from Rovers.
You know, it's the easiest thing. You can only score points when you've got ball in hand, and that's what seems to be happening. You know, we saw it with the Cas at the start of the second half, ball in hand and making strides with it. Again, getting that try earlier from Sean has given them the confidence to push forward. He's throwing this ball around, you know, the edges. They're coming out of the middle. They're setting a good platform up the middle. You've got people, I'm going to say forwards up the middle, but you've not. You've got Ryan Hall setting up the platform in the middle, which is giving them a good quick play the ball to get something shape on the outsides. And it's just the speed of this ball that's just flying around is fantastic. It's great rugby to see. It's great rugby to watch, but it's also causing the defence to just be caught off the back foot a little bit. You know, taking a step with your hips one way, and all it takes is these little whippersnappers to step back in the other way, and there's no chance you're going to stop them.
So Jordan Abdull taking his time, composing himself. Well, they've really ratcheted this one up in the past few minutes. It's been a proper seesawing Betfred Challenge Cup third round tie so far. Abdull, who nailed one a minute ago, this time brushes it across the face of those posts. So it remains 32 points to 18, 14 points in it, and that amounts to a 3-score lead.
Yeah, it's I don't know if it's the confidence, I don't know if it's just this new vigour and presence that Rovers have got, but it's they're definitely fiery for sure, isn't it? They've responded exactly the way that Tony Smith would have wanted them to respond.
You can see what it means to Castleford. They've gone for the short kickoff, and Turner dumped that one back to Holmes, but he couldn't gather it in. And so Cass, with a little bit of ingenuity, have handed the ball back to Hull Kingston Rovers here.
Just unfortunate that isn't, because they know exactly what they're going for. A short ball, they're all going to get there on time. It's just unfortunate not to complete it.
So Rovers, I mean, I guess one of the things you see with the kind of new laws in rugby league is that teams do get purple patches, and so they might enjoy like maybe back-to-back sets, 3 or 4 sets on a line, or a kind of a sustained period of pressure. But what Rovers, and both teams in the second half, to be fair, have just taken pretty much all their chances whenever they've been in that purple patch. So it's been a really good second half from that score, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been rapid, and like I've spoken about the reactions, they've reacted to things really quickly, whether it be a restart, whether it be 6 again, a quick play of the ball, whatever it might be. They've just reacted really well to it, and that's for both teams has made them been on the front foot a bit more.
They're putting plenty of work down Castleford's right edge defence at the moment. Lytton again will pick back to that space in behind the ruck.
You know, this right edge is where they've had success. It's where that Cass are going to be less confident at the minute. You know, they've broken the defensive line a few times, so they're going to keep powering it as much as they can do.
Gareth O'Brien brings the ball out of backfield, good take down on the fly. And now it's Cass trying to move that ball, trying to isolate their defenders on that far side. They were short on that left. Cass couldn't quite get the shift going quickly enough.
I know, a millisecond quicker than that ball would have been out wide, wouldn't it? And we all know what happens with their wingers in space.
Compounded then, the inability to get the shift away as Oliver Holmes is pinged, loses the ball. And so Rovers and Corbin Sims and Mus Mustafa and co will play this 10 metres out, and Cass right under the pump again. Abdull onto Lynette. Saw a kick from him a moment ago. Everyone's having a dig. Here goes Abdull onto King. He has been exceptional today. Thoroughly impressed with the former Warrington man. And Rovers find themselves just metres away from the whitewash here. Abdull onto Lynette. He's always looking to promote that ball. Couldn't get the pass away. Abdull this time with a clever kick. Well taken by George Griffin. Good hands from the prop, and Cass survive that raid.
Yeah, they're back in attack, but look at their position on the field. You know, they've got a lot of ground to make up to get into good ball. So Rovers might have finished with the ball, but they've left them in a tricky position.
Yeah, burning through the tackles here. Darrell Alfort's trying to put some footwork on, but Rovers, Teague, tough in their shape. Millington, now they might be looking to a big shift again here. Holmes can't get the ball away. Yes, he can. O'Brien ducking and diving. This is the last, and they're inside their own 30, Cass, here. And it's all about the kick from Truman. And it just pings off the boot a little awkwardly. He has split the fullback and winger. It has given the chase some time to get up there, but Ryan Hall will make it to halfway before he's finally put to ground.
Yeah, getting to the kick, they've not been in good ball, but they've managed to throw the kick around. And like I've said before, the kick chase from both sides is really great. But there's one person you don't want to see coming out of when you're chasing the ball up is Ryan Hall, and it's definitely up the middle.
Lewis Johnson finds his front. Now Litton onto Mustafa. Proper ramp-up carry from him. Really endearing himself to the Robins faithful. Litton skittering. Lewis angles and then whips a brilliant pass off the hip. And almost in was Ethan Ryan on that far side. Dragged down. Now Lewis fires the kick across field. Kenny-Dowall underneath it. Well taken by Darrell Alfords, because that pinged into his rib cage. And Castleford will have to come away from their own 10.
Yeah, Castleford just need to tuck it under now. Get some metres post contact and get into some good ball area. And then we've seen them do it. They can fly this ball around, and we just need to get the players set up and ready to go.
Massey, great carry from him. Dragging the Tigers away from their own line. Sonny Lefeo with a similar effort. That's more like it from Cass. 14 points in it here. McShane, Truman this time gets Holmes. Now Shenton trying to get on the outside. Good scramble there from Rovers. Last tackle. Rovers set well. It was a chip and chase effort from Truman, but it just skewed off the boot and was an easy claim in the end for Corbin Sims. And this is again where Rovers are really dangerous. Mikey Lewis with broken field almost prizing his way through.
Yeah, it's very dangerous how quick the Rovers can move, and Cash need to just, it's a very fast-paced game this, so there's going to be some tired bodies out there, but defensively Cash just need to make sure they get back and set as quickly as they can.
George King takes it forward again. They're inside the 40 now. 10.5 to go here at Hall College Craven Park, and the game is in the palm of Rovers' hand here. Lynette that time trying to batter his way through, and then Jez Litton just says, right, play out from there, boys. Hacking the ball into touch and making Cass come away from their own end once again.
Yeah, well so far Rovers can, he's done that, and he's thought, we've pinned them down here a few times now. They've struggled to get out, so we're going to try it again. It's not easy to defend any kind of set, but it's marginally easier when they're so far away from the try line.
McShane still busying himself around the ruck, and Massey likewise clattering in. Inside the final 10, 14 points in it here. Cass need to strike next. They need to strike swift as well. Richardson with a solo effort. Dragged down that time by George King.
There's a huge difference now in how Cass is setting up. Beforehand we used to see lots of shape and diamond shape, whereas now it's looking quite flat. So someone needs to step up and reset them, talk to them, get something set up, get them ready to go, give them options and to move forward. There's just a very distinctive change in how they're setting up an attack now.
Well, they've been given a penalty for a ball strip, so that's hooked to touch by McShane. And suddenly there's a different complexion about the set here as Oliver Holmes hits the turf on the 30. Now in field to Truman. Plays late and no look pass to Richardson. Again onto O'Brien. It's all a bit lateral here. Nice pass there from Matotia. And Darrell Alfords might just have plunged in for the Tigers. Robert Hicks looks to his touch judge and points for the try. What a reply. Darrell Alfords gets his second, and it's 32 points to 22 with a kick to come.
Well, again, like I said before, they were set quite flat. Then as soon as that ball went out, we had people talking. There was a lot more organisation. We saw the shape that came back, which gave them options, which then, these two on the edge here, once they get the ball out, we saw the unfortunate fumble earlier on, but this danger zone, they're drawing the defence in, it's leaving that edge wide for him to, I wouldn't say stroll through, but definitely momentum took him over then and managing to get the ball to find some ground.
So Danny Richardson, who's kicked them from 50 metres out in games before, on his shoulders, rests the attempt to kick that goal, and he skewed that one wide of the target. So it's a 10-point ball game with 8 to play, and Castleford Tigers up against it, but they will be working their socks off here. And the pass from from Matautia was brilliant, and under pressure there from those Rovers defenders. Darrell Alfords, but he finished well.
Yeah, there was a gap, wasn't there? They've drawn the defence in, and there's nothing worse than trying to fight your way back defensively to try and stop something, and that comes from good communication and just letting your inside man know exactly where you're at. But now we're going to see Cass get the ball back, you know, like we said before, ball in hand, that's the only way we're going to score some points, and that's exactly what Cass have got now.
Are we set for a big 8 minutes or so of this one? O'Brien, it's a big shift. Matautia can't get away from Sean Kenny-Dowall, and Kane Lynette as the freight train of Rovers defenders comes piling him back. Now Jesse Sene-Lefeo, out came Vete, trying to put the big shot on, but he just slipped away from the Tonga international. Scooped up quickly, Massey sped up as he charged into that line. As the light fades, the temperatures drop. It's a chilly finish to this one here in East Hull. Truman onto Holmes. Another bullocking effort from him. But Rovers containing Cass for the moment inside their own half. Truman, lovely little late pass there to Millington. But it didn't make yards. And they're on the last here. Will they go for the shift? Oh, Truman dropped that ball onto his foot, says the referee. The play on, McShane, big cut-out ball. Turner will clip that one in behind. Well taken by Ryan Hall. And now he's got a scattered line. And Ryan Hall hits the hammer, flicks the pass out the back. It's just about gathered in, but it's not gathered in, because Robert Hicks has called for a forward pass, I think, there. He wasn't happy with the pass. And worse for Rovers is that Ryan Hall is down in back play.
Well, I was wondering why he'd done this little backflip round his back. We know what he's good at. He's ball, you know, get the ball in and throw himself up that line. But he's clearly receiving some treatment now for what could be a hamstring, I think he was holding. He's either twinged it or I don't know, got a bit of cramp. It's getting a bit chilly out there now, isn't it? So who knows? Yeah,
Rovers will be praying it's cramp. And their big off-season signing. Proper pedigree player internationally and at club level. Cass now with a set of 6 then in range, in sight of those posts. O'Brien clobbered there by Abdull. Big hit, loosens the ball, and now Jimmy Kinehorst can bring it away for Hull Kingston Rovers. Well, Gareth O'Brien, we've seen loads of high quality work from Jordan Abdull tonight, but that could be as important as any.
Yeah, absolutely. What a beautiful tackle that was. Was it even a tackle, or was it just like more of a clothesline, wasn't it? He spilled the ball out anyway, but he has been on fire today completely, yeah.
Now Cass have got the ball back. Neither side locking that up. Kinehorst with the legs tackle there, just to complete the job on Massey. Millington, all the shape on that left side. O'Brien, oh, he's got the money ball away to Turner. Turner tries to take it to the line. He will be stopped just short. Castleford Tigers throwing the kitchen sink at Rovers now. Watts drifting. Richardson. Matautia gets on the outside of his man and then comes back towards that middle again. Offload to Sene-Lefeo. Still tackles left in the bank here for the Tigers. Richardson. Now Truman. Truman tipped on. Turner back on the inside for Shenton. There's no sight of the line that time, but they're just inside the 5, and then a penalty goes Castleford's way, and Vete and Shenton exchanging a few words and maybe a little more there from the big Tongan.
It's quite difficult. I don't know if people can see this, but Adam Quinlan is doing a really good job at fullback, as swinging around and pendulum. You know, Jordan Turner came in that edge, but Quinlan was ready on the edge to stop him, and was party to him not getting over the line there. He's been really vocal in defence, and he's really moving himself around to cover the gaps.
Millington onto Massey. We'll be looking for your player of the match shortly, Danica. Big pressure on your shoulders. I'm only joking. McShane, I'm going to have to pick a player of the match, though, I'm afraid. Here goes McShane. Delayed pass to Shenton. Again, Rovers standing up and making that tackle. Massey back to Truman. Massey again. Can't get the offload away. They are throwing their shape here. McShane. McShane looking to go himself. And Paul McShane might just have crafted himself a try, and he has. 3.5 to go. Time ticking down. 32 points to 26. Cass have given themselves a lifeline.
Yeah, absolutely, and well deserved. You know, I spoke about there was a moment in the game where Cass looked like they lacked any kind of shape in attack, and since then, I, again, probably not for the first time tonight, have eaten my own words. And the shape is really beautiful, and I've said it, you know, in this 20 to 15 metres to go, there's a really deep set which is allowing Cass not only to build momentum in their run, but to offer so many options off. And maybe I keep going on about it because I'm at a viewpoint now where I can really see it. And it's not something maybe I've paid attention to before, but they're definitely, their shape definitely up in this edge is really nice to see.
Well, the only thing that is going to let Cass down here is the time left on the clock. 3 minutes, 3 seconds and counting here as the flags go up. 28 points in the Tigers column, 32 for Rovers. We are set for a big finish here.
You know, there's not much time left, but Cass are going to get the ball back in hand, and we've seen them produce some pretty wild stuff with less time to go. So I am not going to hold my breath just yet, but might be something special that they pull out the tank now.
So Jordan Abdull with the ball on the tee. Will he go short? Will he try and spook Cass here? Instead, it's a routine kickoff, although it fades towards the end. Millington, he hung plenty there, didn't it? In fact, the chase had loads of time to get up there.
Yeah, that's exactly what you wanted. Get it up high and let's get under the ball. Put the pressure on Castleford.
Inside the final 3 minutes here. 32-28. Castleford need a try and a conversion to snatch this one. A try without the conversion would take this one to golden point. Either way, we are set for the big final finish here. Truman, now Richardson, now Cass have got a bit of zip about them. Sonny Lefeo drifts onto a short ball.
That was beautiful. Richardson turned his body, turned his head, looked like he was going to pass it round the back, and then just popped it off to Jesse there to run through the gap.
Truman away to that left side. Rovers have shuffled across and shut down that play. So it'll be McShane who zips across to that short side again, dumps off to Holmes. Taken back again by Truman. They need a score here. One last tackle in the set. McShane over the hat-trick. Can he get it down? I think he's just been held up.
Nothing screams Challenge Cup pressure than being on the line for the try to try and bring the scores to even. Rovers must be feeling it out there, you know, and I think that Cass have got a little bit of flair of confidence going forward. There's loads of shape, there's loads of go forward, there's loads of flair and pizzazz, and I wouldn't want to be in the Rovers defence right now, that's for sure.
Well, Rovers have it back. Ethan Ryan, 1 minute 32 and counting. Time against Castleford here. Hull Kingston Rovers have played some sensational football in this one, but they've had to work hard, and now they're through with Lawler. Can he get the pass away? Instead, he'll take the tackle. Rovers don't need to win this game twice. Litton onto Abdull. Now Kane Lynette. That 4-point lead, they'll just take it down there. Keep it down in Cass's end of the field as Quinlan hits the turf. All about the last tackle play here. What will Jordan Abdull do? He'll just thump that one into touch. Waste a bit of time. Just inside a minute to play. Cass will have one last set.
Yeah, they played it very safe there and boot the ball down. Cass is starting from 10 metres out. You know, we've seen them start further down the pitch and still come forward. With only, we're in seconds now, aren't we, really? So it's going to take a nice line break this to even stand a chance to break even.
So Cass have one last throw of the dice. Coming up to the final half a minute of this one. Truman looked to pass and then took the contact instead. Who's going to come up with that last play? That attempt to score. Shenton now. Still time ticks down. 20 seconds. Millington. They're going to run it here They have to run it. Senny Lefeo gets it back to Richardson, delays the pass to O'Brien. Now they're moving the ball around, but Rovers have very few numbers on that left-hand side, and that's where the ball's gone. Holmes onto Shenton. Shenton just about keeps it in his grasp. One last go here. McShane gets the ball on the outside to Turner. Jordan Turner has cracked the line in the last play of the game. 32 points apiece with a kick to come. Castleford can snatch it here, or we're heading for golden point, but that was the ultimate power play from the Castleford Tigers. We're all square, 32 points apiece.
Oh my, wow. We said it, you know, seconds to spare, and here we go. We know that Cass are capable of something special. That's exactly what happened then. The go forward, the pace, flying down that edge. You know, it's not worked that often. You know, they've done a few mishaps down the edge, but when it really matters, Cass can pull out the bag, can't they? And what a finish.
So Jordan Turner, who has been one of the pickups of the 2021 season so far, because he has contributed a last gasp try, came into this with 3 to his name anyway.
I've never been a kicker, nor will I ever be, but how much pressure are you under right now to make this, to get this conversion, hey?
So Danny Richardson, the veins will be popping nearly. And the pressure, the tension in that man's brain at this stage will be barely palpable. Danny Richardson from this left edge of the field to kick Castleford into round 4. Has he nailed it? No, we're going to golden point. What a finish. Well, Castleford Tigers now have to get themselves back up again. Hull Kingston Rovers have got to drag themselves back up again. We are into decider territory now, Danica Prim. What a finish, though, to that game.
Wow, I am not often found speechless, but what more do you want from a Challenge Cup game, really? You know, Castleford have responded in only the way that Castleford can respond, and they are going to go into this golden point with the confidence, with the front foot. And you know, you look at Castleford, you look at Richardson, you look at Abdull. In terms of kickers, then you know it could be anybody's game.
So golden point, for those of you who may not be aware, is essentially where the next point will be the winning point. So it can come from a drop goal, it can come from a try, a penalty goal, whatever means, however the point comes, it will be the deciding moment of this game. We'll get 10-minute halves, which will run until essentially that winning point comes. But I think what you tend to see in this situation, Danica, is teams set up for a field goal or a drop goal where a player will try and get in space and they'll kick it off the boot, off the turf, and through the sticks for that 1 point advantage.
Yes, I say the easiest way to do it because it creates a lot of position, but yeah, that's probably the most. But I say that, but then we've just seen Castleford break down the one edge, haven't we? So who knows right now? I am honestly, it's brilliant. What a game.
So Grant Millington now for Castleford. Has that try sucked the energy away from Rovers, who were just seconds away from taking their place in round 4 of the Challenge Cup?
What we'll probably see now is a lot of one-up rugby. We're going to protect the ball, we're going to keep it safe, we're going to power up through, we're going to get into good yardage. We've seen Richardson kick some outstanding goals from way further out than is humanly possible. So as we see them gather up the middle, they're going up to 50s, and we'll see them set up for that, I'm sure, and he'll drop back.
Well, they've got plenty of options. O'Brien, who famously kicked a drop goal on this ground to keep Salford in Super League. I'm sure Rovers fans won't want to be reminded of that, so apologies to those of you watching at home. But it's a pertinent point. They do have goal kickers. They've got Paul McShane, who can drop one, and in the shape of Jordan Abdull and people like Mikey Lewis. Rovers have got that kind of quality too. What a stirring finish to this one. Into golden point time then, so essentially next point wins. So Adam Jeslett that time onto King. Rovers making work through the middle. Abdull, maybe as they come wide now with Kane Lynette. It's what they've done so well in this game so far. 3.5 minutes of the first period of golden point time remaining. That kick into the corner finally dribbles over the line. And Rovers just saying to Castleford, right, if you want to strike, you're going to have to do another miracle play like he did before.
I know, it's risky business saying that to Castleford, though. We know they can do it. But yeah, they've finished the set and they've pushed them back as far as possible. And, you know, Rovers have had some success in defence from this end here. So let's see what they can do now.
Paul McShane here for Castleford. Bit of a scoot. 2 minutes 51 and counting of this golden point first period. We are into the knockout phase, the genuine knockout part of this game. 32 apiece, and the next point clinches it. No margin for error at all. Concede a penalty anywhere within the opposition half and you almost have handed it on a play, haven't you?
Yeah, you want to protect the ball, you want to play safe, you want to think about all of those skills you learned as a young whippersnapper.
Gareth O'Brien went for the drop, couldn't get it on target this time, and it will dribble behind for a rather costly 7-tackle set. Ball goes out behind, the team then gets 7 tackles upon which to take it forward. 2 minutes 12 with the clock stop here. 32 apiece, Danica.
And they're in no rush to really get off there, are they? They're taking their time for sure.
Yep, no shot clocks these days on those restarts. It's basically the referee's discernment. If he feels time's being wasted, then he might blow, but otherwise teams are just given a sensible amount of time to reset and restart.
And we can see both teams now, they're not flying the ball around like they did you know, in the first and second half. It's definitely a lot of one-up rugby, a lot of safe play, and it's exactly what we want to see. You know, they're going to get that, going for yardage, getting into the good ball and see what they can do off the back of that.
Yep, nobody wants to be the one who threw it away. Kane Lynette here, a place in the quarter finals up for grabs, but who wants it? Who most importantly can get it? Because we've seen both teams want this. That's why we're at this point now, where it can only be decided by a moment of magic. Will Jordan Abdull run this one instead? He'll just pop that one over the top. 1 minute 20.
Oh, he got that out beautifully in the corner there. You know, I think he's dropped back to set up for it, but Cass responded really well and he had no option but to try and run and then get the ball out, because he certainly couldn't have gone for the drop with the pressure that Cass put on him then.
So just over a minute of this first period of golden point time to play. Nobody's been allowed to jump into that position for a proper attempt at a drop goal. Yeah, Gareth O'Brien had a swing, but it wasn't, you know, that wasn't one that had been magically set up for. Cass going to throw it here. Shenton almost slipped away from that tackler on the outside shoulder there. Ethan Ryan.
Your tackle tech is going to be so important now. You've got to protect that ball as well as stopping the player as well.
Millington through the middle of the park. Half a minute to play in this first period of golden point time. You can feel the nerves. The tension is genuinely tangible here.
And that's just from me and you.
Last tackle, 20 to go. And seconds wise, Richardson goes for a drop from miles out, and he's drifted that just wide. And in the end, it doesn't even pitch behind for a 7-tackle set. So in the final 10 seconds of this first period, Adam Quinlan just needs to keep that ball safe.
But that's Richardson showing just how powerful his boot is. You know, his target needs a little bit of work there, but what a boot that was.
Yeah, we're still locked at 32 apiece here. But that is not it. Oh, another period beckons as we look to find a decider in this one. Black clouds gathering above us here in a fading light sky. A little bit of red over to our right as well as the cranes from the docks still lit up at the moment.
I think I'm struggling to make any sense of this. It's an exciting game of rugby, isn't it? It's exactly what you want to see. You know, the epitome of knockout round is this right now, and that's exactly what you want from a Challenge Cup game. And for a team like, you know, Rovers to have been so predominant in that first half, Castor have made their comeback and to really fought hard, especially in those last dying seconds to draw even. Oh, it's exactly what you want to see, isn't it? And it's great so early on in the season to have this. And I think the pace of the game as well has just been throughout. You know, we haven't seen it really drop off, and the pace of the game has been great.
And one thing you would say as well is that it's hard to tactically analyse golden point time, because teams, there's no adventure at all, is there? It's play safe rugby. There's not an awful lot of variation to it. It's up the jumper, try and make some yards and stay in the grind, really.
Yeah, that's exactly what we want to see, isn't it? Like, as a player myself, you know, if my team started throwing the ball around in golden point, I'd get a little frustrated and nervous.
Mikey Lewis takes the kick-off. George King, I mean, at some point we're going to get your player of the match. I'm going to squeeze it out of you, if I have to physically. But we'll find out your player of the match at some point in this one. But it's hard to call a player of the match at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, there's you know, we've got Rovers, we've got Abdull, that have both been, you know, clinical. They've been a real pivotal part of that team. You know, Richardson, and he's been fantastic for bringing Cass back into it. There's a few of the lads out there that definitely deserve it.
George King as well, for me, has had a really good game. He's running hard through the middle. Sims buffeting and bumping. Oh, and then the ball squirts out. Knock on, says Robert Hicks. Corbin Sims looks to the touch judge, looks to his teammates in exasperation. That's the first error we've had in this period of this second period of 5 minutes in the golden point time, and we are just a minute and 10 into it, and Castleford Tigers will have the ball back here.
And what an error to make, you know, just a fumble of the play the ball really before he got down there. It's not ideal.
Oh, Truman through a gap, looking for support, desperate for some support, but he set his side. A great position here. Richardson's poised in the pocket. They'll run it one more time. Milner now. They might not need the drop. Now they've got options. Will they take another carry, or will they look to Richardson? They will have another carry. McShane. Now they've got O'Brien there. They've got Richardson there. Will Castleford Tigers nail it this time? O'Brien back to Richardson. Richardson snaps the drop goal. And again, it's no good. Again, it's no good. 3 minutes 15 to play in this second period of golden point.
So unfortunate. He was set and he was so deep, and they had the, you know, the buffer where they were passing it out wide to pass it back in again, so there wasn't a direct run at Richardson, and then a lot, you know, the pressure from Rovers was just enough for him to scupper it to the side.
No one's getting an easy win here. It's fair to say it is still as fiercely competitive as it was at minute 0.
And it's still as fast-paced as well, isn't it? Like, where are the boys getting this from? This is fantastic.
Yeah, Tony Smith and Darryl Powell are going to have to try and gee these boys up for Super League action in the coming weeks, but they are leaving everything out here in the Challenge Cup right now. 32 apiece. So, player of the match, Danica. Any thoughts?
Oh, I think I'm going to have to go for Lynette, just because he's been a force to be reckoned with. He's been the one that's been taking this ball forward. He's been getting the offloads on. He's been around the park. He's been everywhere, and he's set quite a few things up for the boys.
Jordan Abdull with a crack. That is it. Back to the 10. Back to the 20 they go even. Jordan Abdull. Well, everything there seemed to be pointing to the fact they had gone through, but he missed it.
These boys are on target 9 times out of 10 in a normal game. He gets the golden point, and they, even though they're in direct line of it, are just swing it to the side a little bit, aren't they? Just shows the pressure.
Real slugfest this one. Who will crack? There's Jake Truman. 1 minute 52 and counting. Michael Shenton. For McShane. They'll have one more drive, will they here? McShane still going. Oh, he kept that ball in his grasp just about. O'Brien's poised this time. Slow play the ball. Gareth O'Brien can't find the shape. Now they'll go wide with the Millington. Now back to O'Brien. Can he snap one? Now it'll be Richardson. Little clip over the top. Alford's trying to chase it down, but Rovers recover in the corner. Jordan Abdull comes up with the ball.
Rovers' pressure there was incredible, wasn't it? They had 2 or 3 attempts to try and set up for a kick, and the pressure just went fantastic. I mean, for Rovers, that is. I'm not sure so much for Cass.
1 minute to play. in the second period of Golden Point. Now, normally you just see these iced within a minute, but you can feel the tension. It's proving difficult. Neither side has got the key in them. Abdull lumps it downfield, looking for a 20-40 perhaps there, but he couldn't pick one that time. And Michael Shenton will bring it back now. I think that's the first time I've seen a 20-40 attempted.
Yeah, and I mean, he's just trying to get the ball away, isn't he, as soon as he possibly can when it comes to the end of that set.
Great carry from Turner, under pressure. There were 3 in the tackle. He's worked his way into position here. They've got the distance if they want to go for it. They might set up another couple of drives, though. Watts offloads to Truman. Truman's still going. He had Richardson up ahead of him, so he takes the tackle instead. 12 seconds, 10 seconds remaining. McShane will set another point here. Cass are going to go for it this time. O'Brien's the deepest. They're slowing down the ruck. The hooter will sound as Gareth O'Brien goes to drop this. Is charged down, and Quinlan comes over it for Rovers. Well, the play's not dead yet. The play is not over yet, should I say. And eventually it comes to a shuddering halt, and still we can't find a way between these teams. And Robert Hicks says switch ends and go again. It's almost like a pre-season bleep test of a game, this, isn't it?
That was exactly my thoughts just then. As a prop forward, I'm thinking to myself, I've got nothing left in the tank. Do I want to go again? You know, there's going to be a point where these boys just want this game to be over, not only because obviously it's gone on for a long time and they'll be shattered, but also the pressure that both teams are under now. There's one thing playing a Challenge Cup game within 80 minutes and having that pressure, but to go to Golden Point, to last it out, to manage to evade any kind of score, oh, it's just incredible, isn't it? Like, they are going to be feeling it for sure right now.
So, both sides, well, you might say, sucking in the big ones, desperate to stay alive in this winner-takes-all third round, the Betfred Challenge Cup tie here on the Our League app. Jordan Abdull places it on the tee. The impetus is with Cass here. In Golden Point time, they will get first dibs of the ball. And we're into that 5-minute period once again. Don't forget, the first points on the board in this period. We've had 2, bear in mind, that have come up with nothing, clearly. So it's easier said than done, but the first team to score will go through to the quarterfinals. And it is taking some separating of these 2 teams here. Holmes still jabbing away down that left edge. McShane this time into Milner. Wrapped around the legs and felled like an oak by Jimmy Kindhorst. Truman injecting some pace, trying to take advantage of some tired bodies. Last tackle here. Richardson will go from 40 out, and he will skew that one wide of the target. And Ryan Hall won't get the kindly bounce, and he will have to bring his side away from their own goal line, and he does so with some decent carry there.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing a lot of this just one-up carry. And who else do you want to bring a ball out, you know, from behind the touchline other than Ryan Hall? You know he's going to get it. You know he's going to make the yards past and not give the ball back. So he did well then just to gather the ball and get out of there.
About 3.5 to go. Nice offload in the tackle that time from Corbin Sims. They've got to chance their arm to some extent because the 2 sides are just showing no cracks at all, no glimmers of space or gaps. Last tackle here for Rovers. They're still inside their own half. Jordan Abdull pumps it downfield. Got some kick pressure there. Now Gareth O'Brien, our cast starting to turn this game towards their favour. They're certainly starting their set on their own 40, and that's a better position than maybe where Rovers were.
Yeah, absolutely, quite dangerously so. You know, and like we said, this one up rugby, who's going to break first? Who's going to have the guts to start throwing a bit of shape around and to, you know, catch the defence off guard a little bit, because that's what both sides needed. You know, this one-up's working great in terms of getting a few metres, but it's not making any cracks, is it, up here?
Well, Rovers have already been to Golden Point in Super League this season, beaten by the Catalan Dragons via the boot of James Maloney. They might well find themselves under the pump once again here, because Milner's setting them up. Richardson and O'Brien behind the ruck. They might be taking one more drive. It will be O'Brien this time to seal it, and again he's put it wide. And again we go back to the 20, and with 2.5 to play, we still haven't got a winner.
Has somebody put some kind of, I don't know, invisible guard around these posts? Because these boys...
Force field.
Yeah, that's the one. Like, what is going on?
Nobody can find the target. And we are into that final, that 2.5 minutes of the third period of Golden Point time. Now, I'm not a massive fan of Golden Point in Super League games, but in cup games, where it's a genuine knockout match anyway, I mean, this is terrific drama.
Absolutely, yes, exactly what you want from the knockout.
Jez Litton running at some offside defenders, finding a gap. Jordan Abdull wants a man in the pocket. They might take another drive here just to set themselves. Corbin Sims. Abdull wants another maybe here. And he wants a penalty. One penalty, and this game from here would be over.
Absolutely.
George King. Now they're in the pocket maybe. Abdull, will he be the man? Rovers wanted to take this one. They had it in their grasp with seconds to play. Now it'll be back out to Mikey Lewis, and he scuffs that one under pressure. And then it's just a simple trap and carry by Gareth O'Brien. And he gets everyone up and roused with that little drive.
Oh, 6 again now.
Set restart, yeah. Good spot there, Danica.
It's
in
not
the
exactly
burly.
Yeah, Rovers do not need that. However, it's that do or die scenario, isn't it? You're going to like put your body on the line to try and slow this play the ball down a little bit. It's a risky territory now, and we haven't seen it too much in this game, but yeah, pressure is on for sure.
1 minute remaining then of this third period. Still no splitting these two sides in Golden Point time. Will they have a crack from here? Will they try and set another drive? They do have tackles left here. Adam Milner has to surrender perhaps. Did he run behind his own man? No, he didn't. This is the last tackle. Richardson's given himself plenty of space. Instead it'll be Truman. Truman takes his time and bends it towards the posts. No good again.
I've literally got no words. These guys, they slot drop goals for fun normally. I'm no kicker, so I can't really comment, but as a spectator, as a fan of rugby league, we see these boys week in, week out slot the kicks, and honestly, there must be some kind of force field there.
20 seconds of the third period of Golden Point, and still no one can make that crucial play. Kane Lynette now for Rovers. There'll be one last play in this set here before that hooter sounds. Jez Litton. Sean Kenny-Dowall tangles with Cass. The hooter will sound. That's the third attempt to pull these two sides together. And another change of end, says Robert Hicks.
There's some tired bodies out there, isn't there? This is... It's exactly what we want to see as fans, as spectators. For those boys out there, it's that never-ending pummeling down the gauntlet. You're putting your body on the line for 80 minutes, for 90 minutes. It goes on and on and on, and there's going to be some tired sore bodies out there for sure.
So Robert Hicks brings us back to the middle again. Liam Watts making way as the interchanges continue. Dan Smith coming back on. Players dredging the well for their final reserves of energy here. It's been some Challenge Cup tie. As Gareth O'Brien prepares to open up the fourth period. We're getting on for 20 minutes here. Once this is played, you're talking, that's 100 minutes.
Oh, my body hurts just thinking about that. No, thank you. Never before in a rugby game have I wanted anybody to score as much before in my life.
So O'Brien's restart, gathered by Mikey Lewis. George King tasked with the carry, and he almost crumbled out of sheer fatigue as the Tigers tacklers came in. Greg Minikin loses his footing.
Where's that pressure? One person makes a mistake and you make the mistake for your whole team. It's just, as a team and individually, it's not something I want to be under ever.
Now, George Lawler rattling forward now for Rovers, but Cass doing a good job of keeping that squeeze applied. Corbin Sims picking that hole behind the ruck. Still a tackles left here for the home side, who will not want to relinquish their place in the Challenge Cup here, having been ahead with mere seconds remaining. Jez Litton swipes a kick downfield. Darrell Alford scoops it up. somehow managing to keep those legs pumping as he sets off back towards the middle. And look at those Tigers forwards desperately trudging back. We're inside the final 4 minutes. 1 minute of this fourth period of golden point gone. Next point will win it, but as we've seen, getting that point is easier said than done. Truman takes an offload.
Yeah, the body language is really screaming volumes now, isn't it? You know, we've got the kick chase from Rovers was still really strong. The forwards in Castleford just want this game to be over now. It's a long feat.
Truman energised. Dan Smith. Oh, it was a bit of a cul-de-sac. He found himself in there, but now Casa poised. In the pocket is Richardson. Oh, he's charged down. Played out, says the referee, so it's back to 0.
What a charge and a half. Honestly, Rovers are coming out with their chase today has been absolutely phenomenal, and what a way to stop that, because that might have been the one for Richardson.
3 minutes to go. Cass setting up here with tackles close to the line. They're inside the 10. O'Brien is hovering. They've got numbers here for shape. Instead, they've got a charge from Griffin. Now they have O'Brien and Richardson. Millington being ushered forward by Richardson. Will they pick out a kicker? No, they won't. They'll go wide to Shenton, but the pass was fluffed, for want of a better word.
It's a weird decision to make, that when you had your kicker set up so close to the post there as well.
Truman dribbles the kick in behind. Kainos has to dive on it. Has he been taken behind his own line? Yes, he has. Goal line dropout, and Cass now just going for the jugular, maybe. 2 minutes and 15 to play in this fourth period of golden point. And for dropouts, by the way, we do have a shot clock.
There's nothing more tiring than defensive work, and that's what Cass are making in Rovers do. And Jimmy did a great job there to stop the try from being scored. You know, he didn't have much option at all, but unfortunate for Rovers, and they're going to have another defensive set, which is just going to tire them out even more.
Bobbles on halfway. Dan Smith carting it up now. Rovers clinging on. Oh, how Tony Smith will rue it if they drop out here. Nobody deserves to go out of this challenge. Betfred Challenge Cup tie. Set restart for Cass. That's the last thing that Rovers wanted as the Tigers come ripping forward again. O'Brien this time from bang in front of the posts. This time we have a decider. And Gareth O'Brien on the ground 5 years ago, in which he saved Salford Skins, has done so for Castleford here. It's absolutely bang on cruel for Rovers, but Castleford Tigers have snatched this one in the fourth period of golden point time with 1:28 to play. O'Brien the hero for the Tigers. They're through to the quarter.